So now we're going to take a look at the Dai Sao movement, which after the Chit Sao in the form, you come up to Dai Sao, or raising arm. Now, the Dai Sao in the form can be used both in a blocking or in a striking context. So as a punch comes through, my hands might be lower and I come up to block. Now, you can use a palm facing towards you, or you can turn the palm to face more towards the center. My original Sifu at Chinatown Sifu Gym, he used to teach it in this formation. And it makes sense because it's easier to have a robust structure as a beginner in that position. However, this can still work if your structure's good. Now, so once again, as a punch comes through, it can use it to block, but it can also be used as a strike. So coming up here like this, it can be used as a strike as well, coming up through underneath to the chin. Now, things to think about with the Dai Sao, similar to the Chit Sao, you want to make sure you maintain your wrist on center so that you're covering your center line, and your elbow should be actually mirroring your opponent's elbow in this circumstance, because you want to be able to cover the line of attack. So what I mean is if maybe we'll angle it this way just so you can see better. As Carlson performs the Dai Sao movement as a block against an incoming circular strike around the outside gate, he wants his elbow to mirror mine so that as I make contact with him, he can stop me from hitting through. If his elbow was more narrow and closer to his center line, and I took a wider angle, see how I can actually hit him now, yeah? Whereas if he mirrors my elbow, he is able to stop me from reaching through. So that's an important one there. Make sure your elbow mirrors the other person's elbow. This will come naturally. The more you practice Chi Sao, you'll kind of have an easy feel for it. But at the beginning, it's good to know the theory and the techniques of it. So your elbow mirrors their elbow, your wrist stays on center. Another thing to think about is not making your hand go too high above your head. Think of this like a shield, and the shield should be in front of your body, not up here. Further points to keep in mind is that the other hand should stay up for guard at least, so this one shouldn't go anywhere else. And if you're thinking about it from the perspective of structure, which is a good idea when you're starting out, you can think about the shoulder joint rotating to bring the elbow and wrist up. Rotation is a whole other concept in itself. It links to structural movement, and it is a good idea to play around with, but it's not the ultimate, it's not the mind power of Wing Chun. So we will talk in terms of structure just so you understand what's happening in terms of the movement of the actual bones, but it's not necessarily the be all and end all, so keep that in mind. Now, going back to it, Carlson keeps his stance and guard on, he faces my center, his hand stays on the center line, his elbow mirrors, so his hand stays approximately on the center line. Don't get all like rigid about it and make sure, my whole hand has to stay on the center line. It's approximately on the center line, yeah? And the elbow arcs and the elbow mirrors my elbow. So there's some basic pointers on this one. Another thing you can also keep in mind is that you don't want to reach out towards the opponent's arms. That's a common mistake, especially in beginners. So if a punch was coming this way towards me, they'll reach out towards it, but that leaves you open to potential strikes. So for example, if Carlson does it wrong, he gets his stance and guard on, facing me, and turn this way a bit, yeah? And as I go to throw a punch, he reaches out towards it, yeah? See how he's opened up this whole gap. So if I can change the angle of the punch, I can come through in the inside of that gate. Or for example, I might fake coming out this way, and he reaches out there, and boom, I've got that access as well. So regardless of whether I fake or I throw a punch, he just wants to keep in front of himself, not reach out to the arm. There are a few things to keep in mind when you're doing your Dai Sao movement. Okay, look forward to seeing you in the next video.